Hello everybody, it's Victor from Cardiac Wire, and today I'm joined by Daniel Hawkins, CEO at Vista AI, to talk a little bit about what they have going on here at RSNA 2025 and what's next for their company. With that, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, Daniel?
Sure. So again, Daniel Hawkins, CEO of Vista AI. I've been in the medtech space about 30 years prior to joining Vista. At Vista, we're in the MRI space using neural networks to essentially augment the capabilities of a technologist through direct control of the scanning process using artificial intelligence. Our first application is in cardiac, and very effectively have been able to demonstrate higher quality, consistent image acquisition and lower acquisition times.
So with your current primary focus on cardiac MRI, could you tell us a little bit about how you see that changing the cardiology and cardiac imaging landscape moving forward?
So that's really the primary reason why I'm here, is that cardiac MR is by far the gold standard in functional assessments of advanced cardiac disease, particularly in heart failure patients. Having said that, only about 400,000 a year are done against 19 million echoes, 3 million nuclear exams. You might ask, why is that? It's extremely difficult to do. There are not enough skilled cardiac technologists out there and programs built around that skill set to be able to have the modality in general reach its clinical acceptance level based on the clinical need. The key reason behind that is really why Vista got started. Initially, we were called Heart Vista, focused specifically on cardiac. We're using neural networks to enable technologists with limited experience to create exams that are of very high quality, and ideally enable those who are already very experienced to generate consistently high quality in less time. That has been demonstrated in some of our early installations, for example, at the Brigham and Women's facility, where 90% of all cardiac exams done there, MR exams, are done using Vista software. They're a very, very skilled program, but through an analysis of retrospective against what was able to be done using Vista, quality statistically improved, variability of time dropped by half, and the overall time itself dropped by 26%, giving them 50% more scan slots on the machines that they otherwise thought were at capacity. On the other end of the spectrum, we're very early stage in our work with a group in Florida called Radiology Regional that actually lost 2 of their cardiac technologists. So their program went from being a very full-sized program down to near nothing because of the fact they didn't have the technologists. They brought our software in and they went from a few scans a week all the way up to 25 and are pushing 40. And that kind of capability is enabled through the automation and the consistency of the images that are generated using Vista.
So you mentioned a little bit about the automation and how you're helping with backlogs and improving workflows. How about remote imaging? Where does Vista AI's product play into that?
So really interesting question. Some of our existing customers and those in pipeline have said, we love you for our main campus. Those are folks who are otherwise doing reasonably high to high volume in one facility. But they're recognizing they want to bring cardiac imaging, MR imaging, to the midpoint and the tip of their spokes, if you will. And they don't have any skill at all in those locations simply because they don't do any volume, so they don't have that experience, right, in cardiac. Those centers might be doing brain or spine or both and many other different anatomies, but not yet cardiac. They're asking us if we could use our software in a local installation and our technologists scan on their behalf. It's an interesting proposition. We've heard it enough that we're now turning that into a business, if you will. And why is that interesting from our standpoint? Well, we get to grow the cardiac MR business more quickly that way. But from the standpoint of our customers, they then are able to increase the referral patterns into the mid and tips of the spokes for their catchment area. Our software enables us to do that uniquely because our software actually does most of the exam at a local level. So remotely, we're exception managing against what the software is itself doing. We're the only software outside of GE and Siemens themselves that have an ability to technologically control the machine. We do that through partnership. We're FDA cleared on GE and Siemens machines in cardiac, and recently cleared in other anatomies as well.
So certainly it's safe to say, just from everything that you've described, that Vista AI is going to change the way we do cardiac MRI in this country. Do you have one message you'd like to get out there to the physicians, technologists, and your colleagues in this space?
So technologists that are currently doing cardiac MR, we're trying to make your life easier. One of the main concerns that everybody has is we're here and others are here to take their jobs. Nothing could be further from the truth. Our software has capability to a certain level, past which skills required. And from that perspective, we're trying to make your job easier. Now, from the standpoint of the clinicians, radiologists, as well as cardiologists, there's opportunity now to introduce cardiac MR into a broad suite of services and therefore provide definitive imaging in using cardiac MR where it is clinically shown and proven to be superior to other modalities for functional assessments.
Well, Daniel, thank you so much for all of those insights. We're very excited to see where Vista AI is headed next. With that, I've been Victor, this is Cardiac Wire, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Take care.